To all of our amazing leaders out there. Usually I like to come with Facebook Lives with great news and with a lot of enthusiasm. Today is a little bit different. We've got some news to share with you that you may not like to hear.
Yeah.
But want you to know that it is in your best interest that we're making the decision to postpone our leadership event that is scheduled this week in Phoenix, Arizona. So I come to you with our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Russell Osguthorpe, because I want to help you understand why we've made this decision. We haven't made this decision based on fear or anything that's living out in the media. We would never do that. We do this because we know more than you do at this point in time, and that is because of our Chief Medical Officer. So I'd like you to understand a little bit about who Dr. Osguthorpe is. And I know he's a very humble man, and I know he doesn't like to talk about his credentials, but in this case, I'm going to need you to brag just a little bit about yourself so that they understand who you are and why you know more than the average person does right now.
Who I am. So first off, I am doTERRA's CMO and proud to be doTERRA's CMO. But I come to doTERRA as a member of the Infectious Disease Society of America. I'm board certified in pediatric infectious diseases and pediatrics. I train other infectious disease physicians on how to be a good physician during times like these. And I am extremely well plugged into the kinds of folks who are making decisions nationwide and worldwide regarding this outbreak. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know there's even more, but I think for them to understand, you are training other infectious diseases physicians.
Yes, I am.
Right?
But more importantly, this outbreak is something that I am actually a medical expert in.
Absolutely. So we've been receiving minute-by-minute updates from Dr. Osguthorpe, and as of Sunday, we felt very confident in allowing this event to go forward.
And then things changed. So do you want me to explain a little bit?
Please. I think it's important. Some of these people are en route to Arizona or are getting ready to get on a plane, and we've just disrupted
I can't imagine the inconvenience.
their lives. And so we don't take this lightly. We've never canceled an event before and would never want to do so, especially with such short notice. So I'd like them to understand what shifted between Sunday evening and this morning.
Really what shifted is that nationwide in the United States, a strategy was implemented over the weekend to increase the number of tests that were going to be performed through public health departments, primarily in large medical institutions. That large increase in tests was going to lead to a very large increase in positives. Then later on this weekend, it was, I don't think announced is the right word, but we discovered that there were two large nationwide laboratory groups that were going to be offering their own COVID-19 tests, and they were going to be doing that nationwide, which would, by orders of magnitude, increase the number of tests that were being performed. And so by the time we all arrived at leadership and we're all meeting together, the number of cases in the United States was going to rise dramatically.
Right. So today, well, I guess before today, the only way to be tested for COVID-19 was to go to the health department and
actually
be
you
tested there.
couldn't even be tested if you wanted to be. So the way you were tested prior to this weekend was that you had to be a severely ill patient.
Right.
And testing was severely limited because the number of tests available were so low. But that's changing today, and it will be changing rapidly throughout the week.
Right.
You're going to see numbers of cases that will increase, and those were going to hit while we were all meeting together in Phoenix.
Right. So we knew that there would be mass hysteria that would occur, and the last thing we want to do is to expose you to that. We think about your health, wanting to make sure we protect you, but also we think about we also think about your loved ones sitting at home, right? As you're caught in this, to have them concerned about your health and worried about you getting home, and also what would happen in the incident that someone that attended the mass gathering, right, the event that we had with 4,000 people in Arizona, if they then went home and were tested positive for COVID-19, how does that then affect the rest of the attendees there? How would that affect you?
And the worldwide doTERRA family.
Right.
So if there were cases that were diagnosed in Phoenix, they would be identified
Yeah.
by workers at the CDC, and because of our large gathering, potential for folks
We then have
requiring
an investigator
quarantine
assigned
and-
to our
yeah,
event,
we'd-
right?
We'd have people looking at us very closely. And I think that it's important to understand that this has nothing to do with fear and everything to do with wanting to make sure that all of our doTERRA family, during a time when this respiratory virus is spreading so rapidly across the United States, that we're taking as best care of our family as we can.
Yeah.
And these kinds of inconveniences they're serious, and we don't downplay them at all. But we do want to make sure that you all know that you're our primary concern.
So although things seem fairly mild today, things are going to escalate.
Mm-hmm.
And by Thursday or Friday of this week, it's going to be a very, very different situation in the U.S.
That's what's anticipated.
Yeah.
I speak with folks that are very well connected at the CDC, and I'm talking to infectious disease folks all weekend long about this particular outbreak, and the likelihood of this being perceived as small to minimal outbreak later in the week are really small. We're going to see headlines that are going to grab a lot of attention. And the outbreak, as outbreaks go, just so everybody's aware, it's going to get worse before it gets better, and that is expected. It's nothing that we don't expect. What we want to make sure that we do is try and limit the spread as much as we can and slow it down, because our healthcare institutions only have so much capacity. So when most people who get COVID-19, we know, have mild disease, but a small fraction of those will end up in hospitals or even in ICUs. And we do know that many people have died of COVID-19. And those small numbers are only prevented if gatherings like ours and measures to control the spread of the virus, like we are discussing, are implemented. If we don't implement those, then the spike of the virus will be high and the number of cases will occur in a short period of time rather than spread out over a long period of time. And if we can spread those cases out over months instead of weeks, then our hospitals have the capacity to care for the patients that they need to care for. So doTERRA is being a very good public steward of how we're participating in this outbreak. And I hope that you tell all your teams that that's what we're doing by postponing this event.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things we don't know. This is very fresh information. Dr. Osguthorpe called a special conference call with all of the owners this morning. So this is new information to us within just the last hour. We immediately responded. You should have in your inbox, if you were registered for the event, you should have an email from us. We also put through all of the team apps information about us postponing the event. Now you might say, well, when are you postponing the event to? We don't know. We're watching the landscape. We don't know what's going to happen with this virus. We don't know when it'll hit its peak and when it will be safe to have large gatherings again. So that's something we don't know, but we will let you know as soon as we feel safe in postponing, letting you know that the new date for the postponement. We have so many exciting things to share with you.
This is really sad for
our
us.
Our hearts are breaking as
We
I was
really wanted to
just
do
looking
this.
at the final details of all of my presentations. We were all putting it together to see Dr. Hill's doodlings all over all of his windows. He was so excited to go unplugged with all of you. We had so many great announcements, and we promise they will still come. If the time comes that we hit May and it still doesn't look safe for us all to come together, we will make sure that we're able to broadcast this event to you via technology so that you can watch it from the safety of your own homes. We will not hold that information any longer than that. For right now, what we'll do with your registration is we will hold it with hopes that we can have the new event date by May. If that's not going to happen, we will issue a refund and we'll look at different options available to you. Please know that this is not your last communication from us. You will continue to hear from us. We will continue to communicate as we learn more. We know right now that policies are softening. Right now in the state of Utah, they may say, nope, we have no obligation to give you a refund for your lodging. We expect that to change. within the week, because things in the U.S. are expected to change significantly within the next few days. And so be patient, don't panic. We'll work through this together.
And we'll communicate with you.
We will, yes. So watch for further communication from us. We also, looking at maybe those that are already in Arizona, what should you do? We're taking a poll, so please respond to that poll to know how many of you are in Arizona and maybe would like to do just a small little gathering, right, where we could just talk about all things doTERRA, right? And I'm even willing to go to Arizona for those that are already there to meet with you. So please respond to that poll so we know who is there, so we can make sure to take care of you. And we also want to talk a little bit about some of our product inventory, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
We've
You know that better than I do.
We've sold out of On Guard soft gels. So we have reserved them for LRP orders to make sure they're able to process fine the month of April. Our On Guard family sales have gone up over 400% just within the last couple of weeks. So our forecasting are off the charts. We have manufacturers of our On Guard sanitizing mist, which you're a huge fan of, right?
I am a huge fan of that.
Want to make sure we've got that in our pockets at all times. We have them running around the clock 24/7.
Can I speak to that briefly?
And so just to keep in stock.
So the sanitizing mist is incredibly effective at preventing the spread of this disease. It has over 62% ethyl alcohol in it, along with the On Guard blend. And that will be extremely effective at de-enveloping the virus, making it uninfectious when you were to pick it up on any surface that your hands were to rub on.
Right.
So I would strongly recommend throughout the next few weeks, as the country goes through this pretty massive change
Right.
of how we think about infections. It's going to be a massive event for all of us.
Right.
Having hand sanitizer like the On Guard hand sanitizing mist will be very effective at decreasing spread.
One thing you need to be careful with, because you're going to want to go out and tell everybody how to protect themselves from this virus, right? Please don't ever mention COVID-19, coronavirus. Any of those are buzzwords for the FDA. What you can talk about are products that can help support your body's natural immune defenses. You can talk about healthy cellular response, but you can even talk about global health concerns. Just don't ever mention the viruses by name.
Yep.
The FDA
Very
is
important,
going to be
actually.
watching that very, very closely.
As they should, as many companies will try and take advantage of lots of eyeballs that are looking at these sorts of things.
Right.
So washing your hands, not touching your face, avoiding people who are sick, or if you are sick yourself, limiting any going outside that you do, are extremely well-researched public health measures to decrease the spread of viruses.
But should they be scared?
No. So this virus, for the most part, is a respiratory virus like many of the respiratory viruses you're familiar with.
Right.
It seems to have similar disease symptomatology as to influenza or RSV.
Or even milder than the flu, right?
For many people who get the virus, it's very mild disease. The most affected are going to be those that are elderly or who have comorbid health conditions. And what I mean by that are people that are both elderly and have diabetes or have chronic lung disease, asthma, emphysema, COPD. Those kinds of diseases are very, have been implicated with worse outcomes if you get COVID-19. But that's also true for any respiratory virus.
Right, right. So don't be scared, right? Use common sense. No, we will continue to communicate with you about this event. And no, we won't hold all of this exciting information that we've prepared for you to ourselves. We definitely want to share that, and we want to share it soon. So we will stay in communication, let you know the status, but just know we will always, always do what's best for you. And we're definitely not fearmongers. We're being good stewards. So we will talk to you soon, and thanks for being with us, and watch for FAQs to come soon, because we know you'll have a lot of questions about this event. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.